This is Daniel Simon at Baton Rouge Community College. Of course, this week I will give you a review of the syllabus for the History 1113 class you signed up for the summer semester at BRCC. So welcome you, of course, everyone. This week, of course, I'll kind of talk about, what's in the syllabus. I'll also discuss Canvas, what you have to do to make a grade in my class during the summer semester. And so I'll go ahead and kind of review the syllabus, of course, History 1113. You should already see some announcements I've already posted, of course, at the beginning of the semester. I do have this History 1113 recorded syllabus review video I'll, of course, put up in Canvas announcements. I should have a bunch of announcements, of course, I'll show you later that I already have posted into like week one of the semester, which will start, by the way, on Monday, June 5th. But you can see here, I have the recorded syllabus review video you got right here. I'll kind of put it below with those links right there. I'll also include the PowerPoint lecture with that as well. And you can also kind of see down there in that announcement how I've got some links like email address if you want to email me if you have questions about this review as well. You can also see there's discussion topics where you can go in, also put announcements, information towards, of course, the review as well. So anyway, let me look at, of course, some other announcements. You've already seen in that preview video, I've got the Welcome to History 1113 announcement. So yeah, start looking at that. You need to kind of go ahead and review your syllabus at the beginning of the semester. Also check out various assignments that I have posted already in Canvas, such as the book report. Of course, one of the main assignments you'll have to do during the semester. So do check that out as well. Veterans Oral History Project as well. That's one of those bonus projects I have in my class. Do check that out as well. Also, the Student Historical Documentary Project, that's a new bonus project you can do for the semester. So do check that out as well. Prior to week one, I'll have some announcements later for the, the lectures that I'll have, at the beginning of the semester. I think in week one, we'll have a series of lectures, which will be prehistory and then also ancient Mesopotamia. I think those will all be assessed in week one and upcoming Canvas quizzes that I'll have. This is a non-synchronous online class, so you'll be completing this class pretty much at your own pace, per week during the semester. I have already pretty much recorded all the lectures for the semester. And below you can see the student contract policy page and the pretest. Those also need to be completed at the beginning of the semester. So I've got those in there right now that you can kind of check out in announcements and in assignments. So that's kind of the bottom of it right there. But you have an email address, of course, included right there on the bottom as well. Other announcements I've also posted already, you may have seen in the preview video, history pretest. So yeah, that's going to be due by Thursday, June 8th. So that's going to be one of our first assignments I'll have at the beginning of the semester. So do check that out. It is worth 10 bonus points, but it usually is due in that week one, for attendance for that semester. So yeah, you need to get that one done pretty much at the beginning, along with the student contract policy page also due in week one as well. And I was talking about that preview video. Yeah, I think it's actually from the spring semester I did previously. But yeah, do check it out. It kind of gives you a tour of Canvas, in my class overall to kind of give you an idea of it. I'm kind of going through it again, but mostly this review will be about the course syllabus for the upcoming summer semester overall. So if you have questions, you can go to discussions or email me. You can even leave a comment on the video if you want on my YouTube channel as well. Other links I've got in there, I've got important YouTube channel links. I use a YouTube channel, for pretty much my classes. But I should have a History 1113 lecture playlist. You see there, that's the main lecture playlist we'll use for the semester. I'll probably be putting other videos in there. I'll probably have some preview videos I'll include too for each week that's coming up during the semester. I've also got a list there of the playlists for the Veterans Oral History projects as well, if you want to look at that, if you're interested in that bonus project right there. My main YouTube channel link is also below as well. Of course, there's my YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe to it, you can. But yeah, you can kind of go through it, explore it if you want. There should be like important sections like the playlist I know I've got in there. Should be on the one on the bottom where it says historical background of prehistory. It's got 25 slides in it, videos in it right now. But that's the main one I'll be using for the summer. A lot of these lectures I've already pretty much recorded already from the spring semester. So we'll kind of use those, of course, for your upcoming lectures that you'll need for assessments for each week I'll have. So really week one, mostly I'll, of course, go through and, lecture on prehistory first. And then also ancient Mesopotamia, kind of go through like early history of Mesopotamia and, of course, the later history of Mesopotamia as well. So both those lectures, prehistory and Mesopotamia, will be assessed in quizzes in the first week. Those actually won't be on the first exam. Now, Egypt later will be on the first exam that I'll have. So you'll probably see those listed in there right now, of course, in that playlist. Yeah, let me get into the course syllabus, of course, for the summer semester. Here's, by the way, where you can find the syllabus. It is located in different locations. I think it's in that Welcome to History 1113 announcement, but if you go to see where it says syllabus in Canvas, it should be there at the top. You see where it is. So yeah, that's where you get pretty much the link to the syllabus. So yeah, like I said, do kind of look over the syllabus for the summer semester. Also, the textbook is listed there as well. The textbook that they use for History 1113 is called A History of World Societies. It's, I guess, the one that the bookstore might have is the combined edition, volume 1 and 2. Or if you're just getting volume 1, that's the one that's kind of on the bottom. I'll show you. But mostly I use that in my class for students to do like the vocabulary assignments I'll give you during the semester. And then students do use it as a reference as well. So I don't really teach out of the book, if you wonder about that. And then they also have the volume 1 only, of course, 12th edition. You can get that looks like that as well. And so you can get that from BRCC's bookstore if you want, or you can get online versions like Amazon.com, which might be cheaper overall. Do you have like the links to those if you want to look at them? Also at the top, you can see as well. So it's not really up to you to get the book. If you look at the syllabus, it says that's optional, by the way, for it. So it's not something I make mandatory, for my class and all that. But if you think you need it for a reference, looking up vocabulary terms is something you might need it for, that kind of thing. So you can also go back in the index and look up certain things if you're looking for a certain term or person that's famous, etc. I think on that bottom on that page, it does have like a course summary of things that are upcoming that are due during the semester. So you can also check out that as well. Now, here's the actual syllabus right here. Of course, like I said, it does have information like contact information. By the way, I'm Daniel Simon. Of course, I've been teaching at Baton Rouge Community College forever. I think I've been here since 2001. Yeah, August 2001 is when I first started teaching here. So I think I made my 20th year the other while back. So I'm kind of ancient, by the way, but anyway, so I've been teaching a long time, pretty much like I think it's my 23rd year teaching, I think, overall. But There, of course, the contact information. Of course, in the summertime, I'm not in my office. My office is actually third floor of the Louisiana building, LA 328. But during the summer, I'm usually at home pretty much. So mostly contact information will be email, which you can see there, simond@mybrcc.edu. Also got a cell number as well, which you can see right there as well. But office number, I wouldn't call me on my office number, of course, during the summer. You can text me if you want, if you got questions about something as well. So pretty much office hours, I think virtual office hours pretty much during the summer overall. Course description, survey of major civilizations from prehistory to 1500. So we're covering from the prehistoric times, mostly early humans. I don't really go much into prehistoric stuff like that. But I mostly go into civilizations that cover up to the Renaissance. So we'll kind of go through all the early river valley civilizations like Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, India, etc. Then I go through Greece. I do a lot on the Romans. That's my main area of expertise. Of course, is Roman history. And then I do kind of cover a little bit on the Middle Ages, the rise of the Byzantine Empire. I do a little bit on Islam and, of course, pretty much medieval Europe and stuff like that at the end. Then it's got learning outcomes listed as well. So these are things that you should be able to do when you complete the course. Demonstrate knowledge of important historical events in people and history, locate, retrieve historical data, comprehend resources and things like that, sources and stuff like that are things that you should be able to do in the class. I think it's also got general education learning outcomes also listed there as well. So I already talked about the textbook, History of World Societies. Like I said, it's not mandatory for my class. But students do sometimes get it to do the vocabulary assignments. It says 4, but I think for the summertime, I only do 3 assignments for vocabulary. I have already listed all of them, actually. First, second, and third key terms assignments have already been posted already in Canvas assignments. All 3, by the way, will be due at the end of the semester. So you have the whole semester to work on them. They're due by Friday, July 28th. Will be the final date to, of course, have all of them. But you can turn them in pretty much anytime you want overall. So right now, the first vocab terms, chapters 1 and 2 type terms. Start looking those up. And all I need is a brief, definition of each one. I don't need an extensive, huge paragraph. Just give me a basic definition of what each term, means. Mostly I give these out because I'm trying to give you background information. So, when you watch one of my lectures, you understand, what I'm talking about. So that's the whole point of these assignments for you to complete them. Now, you can use the textbook. You can also go down here, of course, see more extensive, the different terms that are listed there. But it does have a list of secondary sources you can use, like encyclopedias, I guess would be the main thing you can use outside the textbook. You can also use my lectures as well. So like my PowerPoints, my online lectures, you can use those to also reference for your also terms as well. So that's one assignment you can go ahead and start working on, right now overall. There, of course, back in the syllabus, you can see how I've got different exams throughout the semester. First, second, final exams. First exam is going to be on ancient Egypt. Second exam is going to be on ancient China and ancient Greece. And I think the final exam is going to be on the Romans, like mostly Roman Empire possibly as well. So I don't really give cumulative exams. I usually give it on a certain topic, and then everything else is probably going to be on various quizzes that I'll have online during the semester. That's how many questions it could be, but I think with online exams, they're sometimes shorter overall. 30 to 40 to 50, could be the range that they would be. Multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer, I think are mostly the kind of, I guess, questions I prefer to use and all that. But each one of these exams will be worth 200 points. And I think Canvas quizzes are worth 100 points during the semester. Usually I give you 2 attempts, and I think that's all I'm going to do for the semester. So if you bomb an exam, well, you get 2 attempts on it. I don't think I'm going to give any third attempts or anything like that, pretty much. Now, there is I'll probably have during the halfway point, I want to say week 4 or 5, I'll probably have a makeup period. Like if anybody's behind on assignment, I usually do that. And then usually students that are exempt from the final, like if you have a high percentage, like A+ going into the final, usually I'll have an exemption where you don't have to take the final. Like you have 100% in the class, it's really no use to take the final, all that. But I usually do that, at the end of the semester. But you do have to complete all the rest of your assignments that you have left. So yeah, I'll talk about the research paper later. Usually, of course, mandatory. Every student has to do a book report on a certain stroke of work they have to read. So I'll kind of talk about that. That should be on page 4, the book report and review research paper that they have overall. I don't have too many other assignments. I mean, I really pretty much just got, exams and quizzes, vocab, and the book report, pretty much the main things. And then everything else is kind of like bonus stuff that I have during the semester. You do get attendance participation points, but I think it's 150 points, but it's based off of whether you do assignments or not. So I don't really take attendance because this is a non-synchronous class. Everything's based on whether you do assignments or not. Now, we do have some bonus projects I do give out during the semester. There's one which is the Veterans Oral History Project. So if you're interested in that project, do let me know about that. Like if you have a relative that's a veteran, or you know somebody who's a veteran, or yourself is a veteran, you can, of course, either interview somebody or have somebody interview you as well. And so this should be either a video or an audio type interview. And it can be any veteran, really, not just in a war, say World War II to the present. It can be pretty much, I guess, any person that was in some kind of military unit. So any kind of veteran will be fine. You do have to have a release form. So if you don't have a release form, you can't really turn it in, that kind of thing. So make sure they do sign the release form and then conduct the interview. Basically, and that assignment is due at the end of the semester. If you go into assignments, I'll show, I think later, there should be like a guidelines for you to follow, and it does have samples of different questions you can ask veterans, by the way. So do look at that as well. So if you're interested in that, do email me that. You can also contact veterans organizations if you can't find anybody or know anybody's a veteran. You can do that also as well. So yeah, do contact me via email me if you have, of course, questions about it or you want to sign up for it. They do have this other one called the Student Historical Documentary Project. Something I started in the spring. If you're interested in that as well. You can do 2 of these assignments. I think they're worth 100 bonus points each. But basically, you complete a short historical documentary, minimum 3 to 5 minutes in video format. And it can be pretty much on any historical topic you want. Just let me know what it is. I prefer not American history, like either European or world history is what I prefer. But do let me know about this, of course, if you're interested in that project. And I will allow students to do the Veterans Project and then one of those as well, if you want. If you want to try to attempt it or whatever. But do let me know if you're interested in that project in what your topic might be that you want to do it on. Grading scale you see is a 10-point scale, by the way. You can see, I don't know what the points will be, probably not 2,000, but I think last semester was around 1,800 points. So basically you need to make 90% or higher to get an A. Usually on the online classes, people do better, of course. But then, of course, plagiarism, make sure you don't plagiarize. Make sure you do your own work, like whatever it's your research paper. Same thing with the vocabulary. Make sure, you do look up the terms yourself and do that. Don't share terms with other people and stuff like that. You shouldn't be sharing answers with other people and things like that. Try to do your own work. You'll really be better off if you do, long term, if you do your own work in a class, because, if you're just cheating, whatever, I mean, you're not really going to learn anything, and then it's going to catch up with you one day, that kind of thing. Safety, of course, I think the number for campus police is 216-888. By the way, Office of Public Safety, that's if you're on campus. Most of you are probably online, but if you do on campus, that's the number for it. There's also an emergency text messaging and email system for BRCC. It's called BRCC Connect. If you're interested in that, I got the link below if you want to take a look at that in the syllabus. But that's something that's kind of important in case like an emergency, like they have to close school down they cancel school and things like that. But of course, we're online, but you might have a class that's on campus, that kind of thing. By the way, in the announcements, of course, in Canvas, you'll probably see about the bonus projects. I got it right there listed, about 1 and 2, but you can go into those links, of course, and look at each project and see if you're interested in them. Both are, by the way, due by Saturday, July 28th. So that's when they're due at the last minute. Back to the syllabus, course student conduct and other suggestions. So do look at that. BRCC does have a student code of conduct. Do check it out. BRCC student handbook's in it, of course. And so check that out. Most of that won't really matter for the online class, but if you're on campus, of course, it could be important with that. If you do come on campus, you do make sure you have a student ID that's current, parking tag, and things like that on your car. BRCC offers also Academic Learning Center for, certain disciplines. History is not one of those areas they have like tutors if you're wondering about that. So if you got a question about history, do email me. During the semester, we'll have discussions where you can, ask me questions and things like that. You can earn bonus with that too during the semester as well. There's also disabilities. If you have a disability or something like that, usually those students get extra time on quizzes and exams. So do let me know about that as well. There's the book report and course review research paper. That's, of course, on page 4 of the syllabus. You should see that in announcements, and also, of course, there should be something in assignments about it as well. So, during the summer, I do, make students read at least one historical work for my class. You don't have to read the whole thing. I think for the summer, you only got to read 50 pages, believe it or not. That's all I'm going to do probably for the summer. So there is a list of sources below. Do look at that and let me know, which book you want to read for the semester. Do email me about that. For the summer, only 2 students per book on the book list. So if there's a certain book you want, do let me know about that. So this is a mandatory assignment, of course, that I usually do during the semester. There should be the actual assignment listed there. That first link, I think right below that first paragraph is the actual assignment right there. Got the list of sources right below that. And I do include a writing rubric as well for that particular assignment. But yeah, that's the actual in the syllabus, page 4. So yeah, like I said, it's kind of mandatory that students read at least one historical work for the semester on that list. make sure you don't use other sources for this assignment. So see that highlighted area? You're not supposed to use any other sources. It's not really a research paper, by the way, more like a book report. It's what it really is in review. And so whichever book you decide on, like I said, you can read the minimum 50 pages, whatever you want to read. If you want to just read like maybe the first 2 chapters of whatever it is, just read that and you'd summarize it and then kind of give me some kind of critical review about what you thought about the book and the author's style of writing about the book and historical topic. And so it does list the main directions with the research paper. So it needs to have a cover page first that should go on top, which should be in MLA style. Make sure you stick to 12 font, correct margins, minimum 3 pages in length. That's kind of long, but I know that's basically the minimum for this particular paper. Usually it's 3 pages. Actually, make it 2 to 3. Let's say 2 to 3 pages is what I'll kind of limit it, I guess, since it's only 50 pages. I'll say 2 to 3 pages would be about the average of what it should be. Make sure, of course, that you cite the actual, work that you use. So make sure in MLA style to cite, of course, the various book you use. Like I said, make sure you don't use other sources, of course, for assignment. Also, make sure you don't plagiarize. I know there's book reviews out there and things like that. Somebody's read it before and things like that. But make sure you don't do that. Of course, I will be checking plagiarism. So, before you submit your paper online, make sure you put it through a plagiarism checker, to make sure it doesn't have any plagiarized stuff in it and things like that. So yeah, like include a short review. You can either put the review at the end or you can, put it within the actual paper as you write it. But I do have some questions you can ask about the book. Do you like the work? Would you recommend it to someone for reading? What were some positive or negative aspects of the work? What were some positive, negative aspects of the author's style of writing on the subject? So those are just different things that you can, of course, write about. But yeah, do kind of summarize, do make sure you have some historical information. Don't make it vague and things like that. And I'll take off points for that and things like that. No cover page, no work citation. You're going to get points, taken off and things like that. Too short, 1 page, might get half credit if you're lucky, that kind of thing. Now, I don't usually take rough drafts, but you can upload drafts and I can, review it and things like that. And I might even make you, go back and redo the paper. So that's something I might do during the semester. It does give you an outline, by the way. So cover page on top and the main body, of course, review and all that. And then the work citation should be at the end. I do have a link there, easybib.com. There's all kinds of sites where you can, of course, look up your paper and see if it's plagiarized or not and things like that. So you don't want to be using plagiarized stuff and stuff like that. Then, of course, there's also page 5 of the syllabus, student contract policy page. So do take a look at that. That's something that does need to be turned in. There should be an assignment that's in Canvas. I think it's in announcements and in assignments, which is the student contract policy page. It's worth 10 bonus points. So do turn that in week 1. You can also email me and just tell me that you agree to the terms, of course, of the syllabus. So do look over that. Look over the attendance policies that I've got listed in there as well. So attendance policies, like I said, will be based off of whether you complete the assignments or not. It's not really, we don't really have actual real classes, I guess, online with this non-synchronous class, but failure to complete that will result in, I think I've got 150 points for that, for attendance points on that. Whether you do assignments or not, you get a 0 if you don't do any of them and all that stuff like that. So make sure that you, keep up with the lectures and stuff like that during the semester, because I'll kind of go through it and show you later, like in modules. Each week you're going to have to do certain, like watch certain lectures and do certain assignments and things like that, because it's pretty much a scheduled week by week basis of completing the course. If you, excessive absences, don't forget you can drop the course, by the way, either online or drop slip, I guess, from BRCC. So I don't do administrative drops and things like that. So there you got the stuff about the attendance participation points, of course, 150 points. Also on this bottom of that same page 5, there should be a student information form as well. You want to fill that out and attach that in Canvas. You can as well. You can email it to me if you want also as well, page 5. There's other things too in the syllabus, by the way. They do have this military absence policy. So if for some reason you're out, during the semester, maybe a hurricane's coming, I don't know what reason exactly, or maybe you're doing some kind of National Guard thing, but we do have a military absence policy at BRCC, so you look at that. And I think there's a form associated with that as well. Take a look at. And then they also, I don't think it's going to be, there it is right there, the military absence form, of course, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal for the summer. Student athlete absence policy, I think that's usually for the fall and spring. They do have that as well, which is more in the back of the syllabus. But if you're, student athlete, they can't really count you absent. And of course, I can allow you to make up assignments if you're out for some reason due to an athletic event, etc. I don't think that's going to be a major issue, during the summer. I also add this in the back of the syllabus is something that they make us do, of course, administration at BRCC, but it's a syllabus addendum on course continuity in case of a crisis, that kind of thing, which might disrupt the semester. So it could be bad weather, pandemic, or whatever. That could put the course back, etc. If you have a face-to-face class, it could go online and things like that. So I got kind of put that in there, by the way, of course, in your syllabus. But I don't know it's going to affect us as much since we're online class already. Now, if you go to modules, by the way, they should kind of give you some kind of guide for the whole semester. So obviously right now, you can go ahead and start looking at that preview. I've got a preview video I just showed you earlier, of course. Now it's from the spring, but it kind of gives you like a basic tour of my History 11-13 class at BRCC. So yeah, do check that out. If you got questions, you can, email me. You can go to discussions, ask me questions, or even on YouTube, you can ask a question through the actual video that's there as well. And of course, this recorded syllabus review I'm doing, I'll put it right there where it says week 0. It's I kind of put that up before week 1 kind of comes in. But I'll put the link to that. I'll also put the PowerPoint I use for that. I don't know if you need that or not, but I'll put that there as well for you to kind of look at also. And you can see below there on the bottom, those are things that you need to kind of get done, into week 1, pre-test, student contract policy page as well. So get those done. They're both worth 10 bonus points each. So you got 20 bonus points. And you haven't even started the class. Isn't that great? Then, of course, in the week 1 later, you can see, note this week 1 section can be started on Monday, June 5th. That's when classes are going to start, of course, for this summer class you signed up for. So, yeah, in that first week, you'll start, watch that first lecture, of course, on prehistory. I am going to have a preview video I'll do on that. Coming out, I'll kind of put in there for you to look at first before you go into that. And of course, I'll have a quiz to take on that. And then also in week 1, you can see ancient Mesopotamia. So go ahead and watch those lectures as well. I'll have a preview video on that one too. I'll do as well. And so you've got that. You see, early history of ancient Mesopotamia will be part 1 lecture. Then there's a part 2 also as well, later history of ancient Mesopotamia as well. So both those part 1 and 2 lectures will be assessed in that Canvas quiz number 2 that you're looking at. Then later, which I wouldn't worry about it right now, but into week 2, I'll be getting into ancient Egypt. You can see I'll kind of go into the background of ancient Egypt, its early history, culture. I'll get into also like the Old Kingdom. We'll talk about that, and also the Middle Kingdom and the New Kingdom as well. And that's going to be, I think I'll get to it later, but that'll be like one of our first major assessments, which will be the first exam. And I'll even have a review for that. I'll have that you can kind of help you going into that assessment later. But not going to go through all those different, week by week, sections that are in modules. But pretty much I've got it all set up week 1 to week 7. Like I said, pretty much already have all the lectures already recorded. I know from the spring, but pretty much no use of kind of doing it again for now. But those are all the different lectures I'll have, of course, during the semester later. I think on the bottom, if you go down to the bottom of modules, they should have other things in there too, listed like the academic calendars. I know is in there. You'll find also a list for the sources for the book report. I think there's stuff about the Veterans Project in there as well, which you can see later. So like I said, if you have a question about the course, of course, there you can go into discussions. There should be like only one there you can see right now, which is about that preview video. I'll go ahead and put the syllabus in there too later for you to look at it. I'll put it right there underneath that one. But if you got a question about the course, please let me know either here or like I said, you can also send me email. The main email address you can see, Simon D at mybrcc.edu. Of course, everybody calls me Professor Simon, just like my YouTube channel, all that. But that's kind of giving you kind of some background of the course, what our syllabus looks like for the semester. So like I said, if you have a question about the course, do let me know. So, of course, I will see you off and on during the semester. I hope everybody has a great summer semester at BRCC. So like I said, let me know if you got any questions, of course, about the course. So y'all take care. Have a great rest of the summer.